Welcome everyone to my podcast. I'm Kyle Dearborn, and today's a special event. We are in Janesville, Wisconsin. And that being said, I am out of the comfort of my own home, so the smoking lamp is out. There is no smoking today. However, we are drinking, so there's a plus side to everything. So today I want to talk about guns in the household, and that's the reason why we're here in Janesville today is because we are in a house with children, and I want to talk about how to teach them about guns and also how to store them properly so they don't get their, greasy little hands on the guns. Before we get into that, I'd like to talk to my guests a little bit how their views on guns and why they would purchase a gun or why they would keep a gun in the household. So with that, I would like to introduce my guests. We have Carrie.
Hello.
And we have John.
Hello.
Welcome. And would you like to start off telling us a little about yourself?
I am a stay-at-home mom of 4.
I'm a over-the-road truck driver.
Guns in general and how you feel about having them in your life.
I firmly believe in it. I was taught very young how to handle, what happens when you mishandle, and from a hunting scenario from the very beginning, I've always firmly believed in the Second Amendment.
How early did you start hunting?
I killed my first deer when I was 10 years old.
10 years. And how much beforehand did you know about guns? How much were you trained on guns before your...
I was very young when I found my father's Colt 44 under his bed in a holster. And that week I had learned a lot of safety. It was a revolver, so there's no safety on a revolver. And how much it upset my mother that it was within reach of me as a 7 or 8 year old. She forbid that. So the training or education that I received between the age of 7 and 9 was absolute. It was quite to the point because Dad had served in a combat environment and he took that very seriously that this was a last resort.
And Carrie, did you grow up with any kind of weapons in the house?
No, I did not.
You were never exposed to any?
No.
Friends?
No, this is a new thing for me.
Were you fearful of them or just didn't know about them? Were you
No, just indifferent.
indifferent about
Just
them?
it was something other people had and my father didn't hunt or...
And when was your first exposure?
To guns? My husband, but we don't... they were put away. They weren't taken out and shot regularly. Since I am a stay-at-home mom and I need to protect my kids, so that I should get a gun for myself.
Have you encountered any situations where you were unarmed and wish you had been armed?
No, I have not.
Yeah, not unarmed. 3 times. Yeah, absolute. It was imminent, and I didn't hesitate. I didn't hurt anybody. It didn't hurt to pull out Mr. 6 Hour. It didn't hurt to light his green lamp up and say, "Get away from me, dude."
Do you feel safer owning the weapon? Do you feel safer at home knowing that you have the gun?
It doesn't change the way I feel at home. It's just an added bonus.
Someone breaks in, obviously you can defend yourself with more than a broom or a
Right,
shovel.
exactly.
300 million, almost 400 million guns in the United States. Do you feel that maybe America is a little too gun loving?
No, not at all. The more the merrier. I feel great that people of responsibility are able to have and protect innocent people. I don't like handguns. Everybody that knows me knows I'm not against handguns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that's not how I want to be. If you had to discharge, if it was imminent, I want the most distance, the maximum distance. I mean, even if it was a rifle or a bow and arrow, I want you 40 feet away from me before, so we can figure this out, man. Let's get our heads.
Well, speaking of self-defense, this question applies more to you. With a lot of the protests that have been happening in the cities and the closing down of highways, and some of the travelers have been threatened, and you're on the road for your job all the time. Would you feel threatened if a highway was closed down and people were surrounding your truck?
No, I can de-escalate. But if you brought it right to the truck, yeah, you're gonna get a bat. I'm about to bat you, Mister. My owner says I can protect myself in the truck.
Do you know a lot of truck drivers who do carry?
I do indeed. Every guy I know does. That is qualified to do so.
Right.
Because we go on to military bases and things of that nature, and of course you're relinquishing your weapon, and you better be telling the truth. And I don't carry a gun.
It's been a great conversation so far, but we need to pay our bills here, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from my sponsor.
This house is so dirty.
Tired of a filthy house?
I can't get these stains out.
Grease stains in the kitchen, mildew in the bathroom, pee around the toilet. Get ToxiClean, the new revolutionary all-purpose cleaner from Kablamo! ToxiClean is an ingenious formula created by exiled Ukrainian scientists. They have combined radioactive waste with common household cleaners. They guarantee a glowing home.
It gets out all the tough stains around the house and even cleans my whites.
Yes, ToxiClean. Its radioactive components fight filth in every room of the house, leaving it spotless. Warning, ToxiClean may cause mutations in the human DNA. If you show any signs of enhanced or abnormal human abilities, please contact the CDC or the Department of Mutant Affairs immediately. ToxiClean from Kablamo. It's a killer.
Welcome back. Thank you for your patience. Now I want to get into the main topic of the discussion tonight, and that is guns in the household. Now some studies have suggested that up to 50% of homes in America have a gun. And that brings in questions of how to store your gun, how to teach your kids safety with guns. And so we'll dive right into this topic.
It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable because our kids know how, as long as they're taught about the guns, not to touch them, you know, the responsibilities of having a gun in the house, who is to use it, and if it's kept away from them.
And how early do you start installing this into their minds about guns and not to touch them? Or do you base it off their own maturity?
Well, since I haven't had a gun before recently, I never really had to think about that. But when I did, I immediately told them, showed it to them and explained that it was not for them to touch.
So what was their general reaction to it?
My kids were indifferent.
And I mean, obviously, the kids play with like toy guns all the time. That's what boys do.
Exactly.
I had a million guns when I was a kid too. So do you ever worry that maybe kids being kids and being innocent explorers would ever come across it and forget the gun talks?
Yeah, I do. I fear it. The responsibility of a gun owner it's a great responsibility, and it's something that needs to be taught. I think you said it best when you based upon each child's maturity level.
And you've taken the kids out shooting, right?
Yeah. I've taken our older boy out, and our one of our middle children had just recently asked that he wanted to shoot and learn how to shoot. And we can give him the basics, but the professional aspect comes after 18, kind of thing.
You thought about buying their own gun, one specifically for them that's theirs.
I think that everybody that's born in America has the right to be born with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was in our house. I was born to one. Got rid of it as a young adult and things. Just I don't like handguns. They're a last resort weapon.
Now, when you store it at home, do the kids know where it's at?
Yes, my kids know where it's at.
And have you possibly shown them? Do they know enough in case bad guys come in, you're incapacitated, and it falls onto oldest boy or the middle boy to defend the home?
We haven't gotten that far, whereas I have instructed them, if I'm incapacitated, you may go get it. and this is how you use it.
Feel comfortable with that?
It depends on how old they are.
Mm.
My oldest, yes, I would feel comfortable with him because he has used the gun before, but not the younger ones.
Last year alone, nearly 300 childhood deaths, accidental deaths. Kids grab a gun, shoot their friend, or shoot themselves. What do you do to try and really make sure that it's not a toy? It's not a plaything.
I would have to do it the way my dad did it. The way he did it was, this one's real, and that's what we showed our kids. This one's real. You're not to touch it under any circumstances. And if they ever did show a special interest in it, I'd have to do what my dad did and squeeze one off in the house, in the floor. That's how I learned how powerful that was, and to never ever touch that without supervision. That's how he did it. Pow! We're in the house. That's how he did it, man. Put one right in the floor. Because I touched it. Because I found it.
You've taught them how to do archery.
Yeah, it's just something to keep their hands busy. Stay away from the guns. Let's practice archery.
And you would teach them how to shoot a gun too. You taking them to a range?
Just one. We're gonna work on one of the other boys here with some basic firearm training.
What do you say to the people that will say that having a gun in a home increases the likelihood of a child shooting themselves? It brings a danger into the household.
I would say they're right. But I also know my spouse is on top of these things. My spouse knows the mental capacity of a child. We would know immediately if there was ill intent or a reason to take that to school or fear in their lives for wanting to touch one of the adult handguns.
What did your parents tell you about guns?
I don't really remember them saying anything. It was kind of a non-issue in our house. I'm not sure if my father spoke to my brothers about that, but me being a girl and not interested in guns, I don't think the topic ever came up.
And nobody growing up, friends or anything, had them in the household?
No, not that I remember. No, it was just a non-issue. And I didn't even think about it going through adulthood. It wasn't something that I was interested in until recently. To people who say that it's dangerous or it increases the danger, you have to know your own kids. I would never have bought a handgun if I didn't know my own kids and know how they would react or how interested they would be, or if they're major curious or they're indifferent. And mine are indifferent to, oh, look at mom's gun, okay.
So definitely education about guns.
Well, yeah, definitely. And to say this is what mom's gun looks like, you are not to touch it unless I'm here with you. And also, anything could be a weapon in your house. I mean, a steak knife or, my chopping knife, they could grab and hurt someone. So I don't think it's
That's true.
just guns. Everything, there's lots of things that could be a weapon that it could be harmful if you have those kind of curious children.
I mean, statistically speaking, more people die in car accidents, fires, more people drowned than gun violence.
Right,
If you look at the
can-
actual overall numbers across the nation or even across the world, it's a relatively small percentage of people that are actually killed or wounded by a gun. And I think some people tend to blow this out of proportion because it's a hot button issue. And gun is a tool, but it's a tool. It's a weapon. You use it for hunting. You can use it to go and you can defend yourself and kill people. So libtards would explode and lose their minds.
Well, it's their choice not to have guns,
Yeah.
but they also need to figure out how they're going to defend themselves. I don't have to figure that out. I already know.
I've said it to multiple Bible bangers. What are you going to do? Throw that Bible at him? Our preacher carries. He's a concealed carry in Illinois. It's not because he doesn't respect life.
Well, you're also respecting life by protecting life.
Yeah, I actually learned a few things about concealed in Illinois from him. And it's not that I don't I don't want that. Everybody just tells me the same thing. Dude, you're not going to be blasting people in the jaw when you're 50. It's not going to happen.
No.
Well, I've never felt the need to carry my bow on the road either,
I've learned getting older, you're less likely to survive an all-out brawl. So just bring everything you can to help you survive.
And what is the first rule? Run. Get away from it.
Great distance, run away. If you're
Great
trapped, you have nowhere to run, well, you have to defend yourself.
Navy SEALs say it. Conceal carry classes say it. Run. Get away from it. And then grab the concept of what's going on.
Okay, I think this has been a good discussion. That's all the time we have. So I want to thank you both, Carrie, John, for coming on my show. And we'll get back to you next week when we discuss WWE Superstars. As we have John Cena on the show. You can't see me.